President Trump's first national security advisor, Mike Flynn, learned he's going to be sentenced later this year for lying to the FBI. And now tonight we have learned that Donald Trump's former personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, is cooperating with officials from behind bars. He signed a proffer agreement with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Now, the proffer means Cohen will cooperate with the investigation and get limited protection against prosecution in return. The DA is looking into the possibility that the Trump organization was falsifying business records. Joining me now are two of our legal experts, Cynthia Oxney, former prosecutor in the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division and a former assistant U.S. attorney. She's now an MSNBC legal analyst. And Nick Ackerman, former assistant special Watergate prosecutor, also a former assistant U.S. attorney. Thanks to both of you for being here. Cynthia, let me just start with you. What does this mean, the proffer agreement? I think we've been out of this business for a while of talking about Michael Cohen and what he's up to. What does this mean?
Well, it means that Cy Vance's team has picked up the investigation into falsifying business records in the Trump organization. It means that they're sort of tugging that piece of yarn in the sweater and seeing how it unravels. This is interesting on lots of different levels, and not only in how they would do it and what they would find, but can they really get information from Cohen so that they know where to go to find more information so that eventually he never has to be a witness, because you know he's not a very good witness.
Right.
Because of his convictions. But they can get information on this falsifying business records, which can be a felony and a serious offense. And it could lead, as you tug on that yarn in the sweater, from falsifying business to some kind of a criminal tax fraud case. And so we just have to wait and see what they get. In addition, what they got out of AMI, what they've gotten out of the records from the Trump organization. And in the course of their investigation, have people in the Trump organization lied to them? Is that another charge? So this is just the beginning to pull this yarn on this sweater.
Let me ask you this, Nick. For people, Cynthia was just talking about Cy Vance, a Manhattan district attorney. Right. We have mostly known about Michael Cohen through the work of the Southern District of New York. What's the importance or difference here?
The big difference here is that Cy Vance is the local prosecutor. He is the state prosecutor in New York County. So he is not concerned with federal crimes. He's concerned with state crimes. But I think we have a continuous theme here that pervades all of this. And it's simply that all roads lead to Donald Trump's tax returns. To make this a serious crime and a serious felony, falsifying business records is usually associated with falsifying numbers so that they falsify in turn the tax returns.
Oh, interesting.
So in this particular case, it could very well be that they are looking at the false state tax returns that have been filed by the Trump organization, filed by Donald Trump, and there could be all kinds of people who have criminal liability here. If it's just Donald Trump, obviously the problem there is indicting a sitting president, although the Manhattan DA's office is not under the same stricture as the Department of Justice.
Right.
They could indict a sitting president. Secondly, there are lots of people around Donald Trump who could be indicted for aiding and abetting and assisting in this. For example, in the Watergate prosecution, we could have indicted Richard Nixon up until the point that he was pardoned by President Ford. However, we wound up indicting 4 other people who assisted Nixon in the preparation of his false returns. So here you've got people like Weisselberg, who is given immunity by the feds, but that immunity doesn't carry over to the state. You've got people who were involved in actually dealing with this hush money, dealing with the books and records. So there are lots of potential defendants here who could be charged with crimes relating.
This is the pulling on the yarn. Cynthia, what can Cy Vance offer Michael Cohen? Why would he do this? What does he get in return for it? Well,
first of all, revenge is a wonderful motivation, which is another reason why you don't want him on the stand. You know, Cy Vance isn't in a position to do anything about his federal time because he's serving time in a federal prison, and he can't really do anything about that. So I would say, you know, Cohen obviously feels it's deeply unfair, and I would agree with him, that he's the only person serving time for the campaign finance violation. And it has inspired him to find ways to make sure the authorities in in New York State know about the violation and will follow all the leads. Because after all, in the New York State prosecution, there is no bar to shut it down, the Attorney General. There is no OLC memo, and there's no pardon power associated
the OLC memo
with
is
the
a
state
thing
court crimes.
that prevents federal prosecutors from indicting a sitting president. Nick, one will remember that Michael Cohen was not jumping over himself to cooperate with authorities the whole way. There was always something there that prevented him from fessing up to everything he's done. He's worried about something.
Well,
There's
he's
something
clearly worried that he's spending 3 years behind bars. I mean, I can guarantee you he is not sitting there now just making license plates. I mean, he is looking for ways that he can cooperate and get his cooperation before Judge Pauley in the Southern District of New York so that he can rack up those brownie points and bring down that sentence. I'm sure he's cooperating with Jerry Nadler's investigation. He's cooperating with the DA's office. And at some point, his lawyers are going to go before Judge Pauley. They're going to list all of this cooperation. They're going to say that Michael Cohen, while he's been in prison, has cooperated with a whole series of investigations, and therefore, Judge, you should lower his sentence. And that's what he's going to try and do.
Thank you to both of you, Cynthia Oxley, Nick Ackerman. We appreciate it.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.